Hi, this is Vishal. So we are on the second part of the session of the registration process in which we have to learn today how we register the user in database on the server side using the retrofit. So we have to go through once what we have done last time, and we have done the data binding in the Kotlin, and we create a register view model on that, and we have done some validations. Please, those who are new must watch my previous session and then come on this session. And today what we have to learn, we have to learn that we have a retrofit, we have a repositories, and that data record we have to insert in your web server site using the retrofit. So that's the scene. And I have seen many queries, people get confused later to the presenter. Please don't get confused later to the presenter, because of whenever the name say presenter, it doesn't mean that we are working with the MVP. Presenter also be work with your MVVM, because of whenever we extend the view models or working with the data binding techniques, we need that presenter as in your all the interface of the events that we have to implement on your main activity. So that is the simple scene. So don't go with that presenter which is in MVP. I am asking about the MVVM presenters. Okay. And those working with the Kotlin, I have many sessions, coming sessions for them, in which we have to learn the RX Kotlin, that means the reactive, and how we can work with the RX Java, and also with the Dagger and clean architecture. So many more tutorials I will on the plate, that is on your coming sessions. Okay, so today we have to learn the part 2 of the retrofit and repository, how we can interact that. So let's start it in Android Studio. Okay, so let's start in Android Studio. So here you want be these implementations for the retrofit side, that is your JSON, retrofit, and retrofit converter with the JSON, these all stuffs. Okay, and what we have done last time, this is your user model, and that we interact with our register view model, and here we have a main activity where we have done the bindings and binding, and here we use the view models. Okay, and that view model observe the whatever be the changes in your mutable live data on your register view model. We can get interact with that. Okay, so easy. So now today we have to start the work with your remote and repository. So we have to learn that. Before that, I will show to you the values, how we can insert it. So this is our PHP site. I will upload this file. Is a single file you have to work, in which we just simply insert the record and get the response as in a message. Okay, and there will be the name, the same name, email, and phone. Three things we have to insert, and you use according to your choice, whatever be your comment. And if you see the localhost database, so here we have a user register, and I just put it the manual record here, but I will show you how you can put it in the Android Studio by the Android Studio. And this is your records, and yeah, so these things, and this is your port. So here we have a port that is working on 192.168.15.2, and this is the register PHP. So what you have to type, you just copy paste the location. Okay, and after that we need this address. So let's go with the remote, and in this remote what we have to do is a Kotlin file, and here you can make a API service, and this is your interface, and interface is your API service, and in which we have to declare some things. So that is your form URL encoded, and that means we working with your post values. We need to insert some things, and whatever you copy you just paste it. Okay, and here you have to create a function. That function be your, give any name, that is your user register. I'm giving the name to this, and this is your add field, and that field is your name string, and copy paste it. So here we can say this is the email and this is your phone, this is int, and this is a phone. Okay, and so easy. But here we have to call something, so I'm using this call but as in a response, because of I don't want to work with the string here. So what to do for that? First we have to create a model, because of we need a message there. That means we need a model be as in a message. So what to do? That is create a Kotlin file, and I'm using the response user, and this is a class response user, and that response user you can say this is your serialized name. And if you do not know about the serialized, please must watch my that tutorials in which I have described the retrofit. Okay, and what's the name be here? We just copy it. This is the same name in which we want to response. So here it is a message. Okay, and you can say that this is your, you can give the name any, but that value name is the same. Okay, it's so easy. And yeah, so our method be our next value be response user. So here you can say that alt response user be here, and say alt enter import retrofit call. So this is our retrofit call as in a response user. So these are API service be ready. What we have done the form URL encoded, we just post, and here we have location, put the location of the server side, and here we pass 3 fields B in which we have to send our data and get the response of that particular message in the form of message. Okay, so easy stuff. Now close these things, and we have to go for the remote again, and in this remote we have to work with the retro class. So Kotlin class is your retro class. So here what we have to do, that means this is your retro class, and in which we have to create a simple retro value. That means we have to call that class. So this is your class retro class, and here you can say that this is your private, and this is your val, and this is your base underscore URL, and that URL that is related to your string value, and that string value be as a copy paste. Okay, and don't use this slash because I have already this slash here. Okay, and yeah, so otherwise it gives issue. So this is your base URL of your accessing point, and now we have a function that is called your private function that's called get retro instance, and get retro instance, this is your retrofit, and we have to return something, so that return value be here, return your retrofit dot builder. That means we need to build something, so but first I need a base URL, and that base URL is your base URL. Okay, and dot we have to build it, but we also need to create a dot converter factory for this. So here we can say add converter factory, that means it converted as in a lenient, I mean the strings forms, and here I'm using a JSON converter factory, and this already described to you in my sessions, previous sessions, where we need it and how we can use the JSON, by we use the JSON. So all the stuff we have done already. So here we want to be a string, so we need a JSON as in a JSON builder dot set lenient dot create. Okay, and put this JSON be here. So that means our function of the instance be ready. Now we need a second value which we have to call on everywhere, that is your singleton kind of values. So here we can say this is your get API service, and here I want to be as an API service, and here we have to get return. So this is your get retro instance dot our create, and that create our API service, and that service I want be as a class dot java. Okay, so that means we have to call this get API service anywhere. So that is very simple. So this is our retro class and API service class, number 2 step. Now we have to work with the repository. We have to create a class repository as in a Kotlin. So this is your repository. So this is your class repository in which we have to work, and this is repository that interact with. So here you can say this is your result data, and that result data be your mutable live data, and this is your string. This is very simple, and here you can say that your function call, we give any name to this repository. So we have to call this repository. So for this we need a value of API service, and that means if you use this call on an API service, that same thing with here. That means we call the values as in a retro class dot, I think it's not getting the retro class be here, get API service. I need it. So okay, it happened. Yes, get API service. Okay, so this is your get API service be here. Let's check. Yeah. Okay, now that's everything is fine. We have to value this user register. So I'm giving this user register be here, and say that this is your API service dot user register values. So whenever you work with this repository, that means what we have done in our history model, we have a user here. So that means that user we have to send to our repository site. So this is also be a user. Okay, and for the API service users, what we needed, user dot name comma user dot email comma user dot phone, and we have other methods also, but I described to you each and everything is in a brief. Okay, so you learn it. So user register be here, as in we can say that is a NQ, and that NQ be your object, and that object we have to call back, and which kind of callback it is. Show to me as in a callback response user. Okay, so say it is a retro class. Not getting it. Yes, this is your retrofit callback. Okay, and that means we need some responses in it. So what to do here, you can get overwrite values on response, delete it, and here you can get overwrite value failure, delete it. Okay, so this is your each and every step. I give it in a brief so you learn. So that's the thing. Okay, so here you find your response be, your result value be here. So as I want be the value as in the masses, and here you can say that your result data and dot value is get your response and dot body and dot your masses. Okay, so that's very simple, and if you want something you can say yes, that's the value of the masses be here. Okay, and the same we have to do with your error. If there be something error, result data dot value, that is your t dot masses dot to string to string, and here it can say that not null or non-null. That means you can make it like this for the non-null. So this is very simple, and this is our repository be ready. So how we can interact with the repository to our registry view model? I hide this code be here, and no need of this code. This is just for test. I'm calling this class be here, that is your where repository it is your repository, and this repository we can say that this is your repository dot call repository, and we pass this user. Okay, so easy. So that means here we call this repository, and under the repository one more thing, we need some responses. So whenever we need some responses, so the same value of the mutable live data, we just copy it be here. Okay, so here that means your result data be your values, so we can get access this get register user in, you can say that get register user in your repository, you give the name different. And here on the register view model, because of we need something we here, that means updations of the values, so repository, so that user register repository and here we have a result data value, so result data dot value is equals to dot value. So that means this value we have to pass it here. That's very interesting. Or you can say that directly result data is equals to your values, both the things we say. Okay, and here we have a user, and here we can check it on the main activity, everything be the same. I don't want to change anything, and here it changes with the user register to me, and it shows something. And if you want to need something values, that means from the value, so I'm just giving the masses, that is called IT. Okay, and here in the manifest you must give the permission use permission internet, that's the thing. Okay, so everything is fine. Now we have to run this on Genymotion and see what happens. Okay, so let's see what happens. Yeah, so here you can insert it just like say John. It's your john@gmail.com and phone number is whatever be 12345. I'm giving is your register. One click and it show me whatever be. Yes, you have been registered. You have been registered. This is you have been registered. Our message, that means it inserted. And here we refresh the record and you can see this is a john@gmail.com 12345. We have a new record just like we can say Amit, and here I'm using the Amit and some number and we register, and then you can see the refresh and this is our Amit. So everything is fine. So I think it's very easy to work with the Kotlin and must practice on that. I will upload this on the GitHub so you will learn. Thank you so much for the day.